Franklin Gutierrez killed the Tigers last night. And in my opinion, killed the franchise. Killed the season. And put a man on my hit list. Forget Larry Parrish. I'll tell you who's on my hit list now. A split at Miller Park. The Indians take one of the 2-game series, returning home now to play the Chicago White Sox. The Mud Hens look to continue to get back onto the winning page as they play Lehigh Valley tonight. And a sports reporter picks the 5th line to be back in the playoffs. Who else thought about it? They're going to make the playoffs this year? It'll be a very interesting show today. If you're watching All Andy Alfred, right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of Clay Fan 2-3, right here only on your exclusive home for me. So, play the music.
I've been listening to you, watching the same games you've been watching, but I have the nerve to say what's on my mind. It's time to listen. It's time to learn. It's time for All Andy Alfred.
And I'm wearing Mariner green today. I guess you can.
Starting now.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs. Quite stylish. And maybe I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe, but I got you pegged. But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again.
All over my face.
Scrambled eggs all over my
all
face.
over the bullpen. What is the team to do?
Frazier has left the building.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. Ooh, what's this? This is a new jingle. I haven't heard this yet. This sounds fantastic. Catchy.
Stop your feet, clap your hands. You're part of the team sitting in the stands.
This sounds cool. Who is this?
Come see what's brewing. Come see what the good times are. Come see what the Brewers are doing. Come on and cheer a superstar.
Not Brian Braun, that cheater. I'd rather have myself some, not Brewer fever, Indian fever.
Indian fever. It's catching fire with everyone. Indian fever. You can be part of the fun. You're the winner at every game. That's where the excitement begins. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer with the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, be a believer. The Indians win today.
Indian fever. It starts from the very first inning. Indian fever. Each game is a brand new beginning. It's the hits, the homers, the double plays. It's how you feel when we win. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer with the Cleveland Indians.
Be a believer. It is Indian baseball. And I love you guys. And welcome to this post-game Indian Fever edition of All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me. A production of Clayman 2-3. I am your host, Andy Alfred, welcoming you into the Man Cave Studios. Welcoming you into another edition of All Andy Alfred right here, as you can follow us on Twitter. It is at All Andy Alfred. It is at All Andy Alfred. You can feel free to put a comment underneath the show. It will be read on air. right underneath you, right here on this program. On the program today, we will preview tonight's action on the diamond, as well as recap last night's games and this afternoon's games as well too. So let's first start off with the Indians first and foremost. And we'll start with last night before we get into today's game that saw the Tribe win. Let's talk about what happened last night. Cleveland, of course, losing to the Brew Crew, a score of 8-1 in the game last night at Miller Park. It was a showing, I was a little bit surprised by that. Matt Garza, great outing for him as he picks up the win. He goes to 5-10 with a 5.23 ERA. Danny Salazar gets the loss. He goes to 8-5 with a 3.78 ERA. Segura homered, his fourth of the year for the Brew Crew, as the Brewers win over the Indians 8-1. For Garza in the game, he went 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs, and none earned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. For Danny Salazar in this game for the Cleveland Indians today, it was a great not a great performance for Danny, for Mr. S, as he went a total of 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, all 3 earned, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. The 1 home run he gave up to Segura. Time of the game at Miller Park last night, a total of 2 hours and 58 minutes, 34,379 in attendance at the game last night. And Gene Segura, his 4th home run of the year for the Brew Crew. Good crowd on hand, a little bit of Indian fans blended into that as well too. And then we get into today's game. The Indians getting a much-needed win, splitting the 2-game quick series against the Brewers and getting a 7-5 victory. Adams gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 3 ERA. Kyle Loesch gets the loss. He goes to 5-11 with a 6.29 ERA. Cody Allen, his 20th save of the year. The long ball was a helper for the Indians as Francisco Lindor hit his 3rd and Michael Brantley, a 7th. Lid for Milwaukee homered, his 16th of the year. For the Brewers, the starter was Loesch. He went 5 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, all 5 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 2 home runs. For the Tribe in this game, this afternoon, the starter was, of course, Cody Anderson, 2 2/3 innings, a rough start for him, 10 hits, 4 runs. Those 4 runs were earned, no walks, 1 strikeout, and the 1 home run he gave up to Lid. But of course, it was Austin Adams getting the win. He pitched an inning and 3rd, 1 hit, no runs, and none of them were earned, 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. Time of the game today at Miller Park, 3 hours and 27 minutes, 32,588 in attendance at Miller Park. So the Indians now return home. They'll play a 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. We will preview that series starting tomorrow on All Andy Alfred. Tomorrow, another post-game edition as the Tigers take on the Seattle Mariners tomorrow afternoon. And let's talk about that. Sorry, Slider, I got to take this off because I'm going to rant. And I know my hair is all messy. It's going to be messy here in just a second anyway, so bear with me. If I was Mike Ilitch and Dave Dombrowski came up to me and said, we're going to make some moves and we're going to keep David Price and Yoenis Cespedes, I would turn to him and spit in his face. The pitiful performance, though, by Brad Ausmus. This guy has got to go. He has worn out his welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot. His winning percentage is a .535. His record as a manager, one job so far. 134 and 116. He's got to even up. He's got to go 500. Get out! Fire Brad Ausmus. I call people's jobs out in sports This is a must. The amount of talent that we have on this team. We have David Price. We have Justin Verlander. We have Anibal Sanchez. We have Miguel Cabrera, who's injured. We have Yoenis Cespedes. We have Iglesias. Alex Avila. Nick Castellanos. Victor Martinez. J.D. Martinez. The amount of talent that we have on this team. Can somebody answer me the question? Somebody answer me the question. Why the hell is Brad Ausmus blowing this job for himself? The amount of talent that this team has. And the lack of leadership. I say it again. The lack of leadership. I really want to say, and I'm going to say it too, the Tigers are going to be sellers. Price is gone, in my opinion. Cespedes is gone, in my opinion. Soria, gone. The bullpen, that's what they need to bank on. It's what they need to bank on. Is the bullpen. They need to put money down on the bullpen. No matter what it is. Whether it be a closer, we dump Jabba Chamberlain. Hashtag fire Brad Ausmus. Hashtag fire Larry Parrish. Get all the managers. You need a new regime. Absolute new regime. It starts at the top, works its way down. Ausmus, in my opinion, is a double-A manager. Absolute double-A manager. When he was hired, there's a little bit of me that said he's going to be great. There was a little bit of me that said, what the hell did they choose this guy for? And it's proven yet again. Playoff inexperience from last year. Game sweep from Baltimore. Inexperience this season again. The writing is on the wall. Fire Brad Ausmus. It's plain and simple. There was a ball game last night, and Franklin Gutierrez, a pinch hit, grand slam, home run. Why you do research. Why you play the players that are going to be there. And Lloyd McClendon and his Seattle Mariners did a fantastic job. Did an absolute fantastic job. That's the Detroit Tigers lose. The Seattle Mariners 11-9 last night. Burnell gets the win. He goes to 1-1 with a 2.89 ERA. Natali Feliz gets the loss. He goes to 1-3 with a 5.79. Smith, his 8th save of the season for Seattle. For the Tigers, it was J.D. Martinez, his 27th, Yoenis Cespedes, his 14th, and Nick Castellanos, his 7th. For the Mariners, it was Nelson Cruz, his 22nd, and Gutierrez, his only 2nd home run, a grand slam. In the game, it was Shane Green on the hill, 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs. Those 5 were earned, 2 walked, 1 strikeout, 1 home run given up by him from Cruz. For the Mariners in the game, it was Todd Walker, 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them were earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts, the 2 home runs given up. Fernando Rodney came in the game. He went 2/3 of an innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run. That run was earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts in the game. Time of the game last night at Comerica, 3 hours, 55 minutes, 34,088 in attendance. And as soon as Gutierrez hit the home run, everybody walked out. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Detroit Tiger fans. I agree with us. We needed to walk out and see this. The fans needed to walk out because of the pathetic performance they did. 8 runs in the 5th inning alone, and that was the grand slam. And it all started with an Austin Jackson single. Fire Brad Ausmus. Sell it. Sell it. Get rid of it. It's a barn sale. It's a barn sale's on fire. Fire sale. Sell it. Sell it. Sell. Sell, 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 sell. They're going to try to get back into it. They win tonight, they split the series. They'll at least split the series. They have to win either the next 2 games to split the series. Or the broom might be coming out. Even though they won on Monday, of course. So looking at the starting rotation tonight for the Detroit Tigers game against the Seattle Mariners, it will be Montgomery on the hill for Seattle. He will be opposition to Anibal Sanchez at the game. 7:08 start time for that one tonight. On tomorrow, it will be a day game at Comerica Park. It will be Irakuma 2-1 with a 4.89 ERA versus David Price, who's 9-3 with a 2.32 ERA. That game is at 1:08 on Fox Sports. Detroit at 1:08 tomorrow. So we will be on post game for that. Looking at some scores from around the major leagues yesterday afternoon, besides the 2 games we were just talking about. On Tuesday, the Yankees were a winner 3-2 of the Baltimore Orioles. Washington loses to the Mets 7-2. Philadelphia gets blanked by the Tampa Bay Rays 1-0. In 13 innings, the Cubs were a winner 5-4 over the Cincinnati Redlegs. Atlanta was a winner 4-3 over the Dodgers. Houston getting an 8-3 win over the Boston Red Sox. Kansas City a 3-1 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. The White Sox could not rally in the back end of the game, could not win against the St. Louis Cardinals as they lose 8-5. Colorado gets blanked by Texas 9-0. Arizona gets blanked by Miami 3-0. And the Angels of Anaheim blanked the Minnesota Twins 7-0, while Toronto wins 7-1 over the Oakland Athletics. And San Francisco was a winner 9-3 over the San Diego Padres. We had some day games going on today. A doubleheader happening at Great American Ballpark between the Cubs and the Redlegs. Game 1 has just went final in the game, and they are now on to Game 2. Game 1 was this afternoon, and the Redlegs were a winner 9-1. Lee gets the win. He goes down to 8-5 with a 3.78 ERA. Hendricks gets the loss. He goes to 4-5 with a 3.66 ERA. The Washington Nationals a 4-3 win over the Metropolitans of New York. The Philadelphia Phillies a 5-4 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. The Dodgers beat the Atlanta Braves 3-1. And the second game going on right now between the Reds and the Cubs are just getting underway. Now, bottom of the ninth, Texas is up 10-8 on the Colorado Rockies. And bottom 9, San Francisco is up on the Padres 7-1. The Baltimore is in New York. Boston is in Houston. Pittsburgh in Kansas City. St. Louis is in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Minnesota is in L.A. tonight. So looking at the standings after last night's pitiful performance by the Detroit Tigers, let's look at the standings going forward into tonight's play. With the Kansas City win yesterday, a Cleveland win today, and a Tiger loss, this is what the standings look like. Minnesota losing as well, too. Kansas City is 56-36 in first place. Minnesota is 50-43, 6.5 games out of first place, holding the second wild card position. Detroit 46-47, 10.5 games out of first place, 4 games out of a wild card position. The Indians 45-48, 11.5 games out of first place, 5 games out of a wild card position, and the White Sox 42-49, 13.5 games out of first place, 7 out of a wild card position. In the National League Central, St. Louis is still holding on, 59-34 in first place. Pittsburgh 54-39, 5 games out of first place, 4 games up in the wild card position to the Cubs, or 50 and 43 and 9 games out of a first place bid in the Central, and holding the second wildcard position. Cincinnati 42 and 50, 16 and a half back, 7 and a half out of a wild card. Milwaukee 42 and 53, 18 games out of first place, 9 games out of a wild card position. So the Indians will take on the White Sox tomorrow night. We'll preview that one and recap the Tiger game against the Mariners this evening on tomorrow's edition of All Andy Alfred. You're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, ClayFan23. I am your host, Andy Alfred. Let's talk a little bit about tonight's matchup for the Mud Hens. Mud Hens will have the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs tonight, as they will take on in Pennsylvania. It will be bid on the hill for Lehigh Valley. For the Mud Hens tonight, it will be Biddle for Lehigh Valley. It'll be Kyle Ryan for Toledo tonight. That starts at 7:05. Looking at the rest of the rotation for Thursday, it'll be Buck Farmer, 7-3 with a 4.13 ERA, taking on O'Sullivan for Lehigh Valley, who has no record, of 3 ERA. Then the Mud Hens then head to Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, New York, take on the Rail Riders. It's Sloveno, 5-0 with a 1.79 ERA, 7:05 start time for that one. Saturday, both teams have not yet named the starter. Sunday, both teams have not yet named the starters as well, too. We'll give you the preview for that going forward on the next edition of All Andy Alfred, so we'll get more in-depth analysis for that. After all, the Mud Hens losing yesterday afternoon, going to try to get back into the winning page this evening in Lehigh Valley. Looking at the scoreboard from around the International League this afternoon, one game of note: Scranton-Wilkes-Barre was a winner over Indianapolis, 10-5. Last night in International League play, the Bats were taking on the Columbus Clippers, and the Clippers are a 7-6 win over the Bats this last night. Pawtucket loses to Norfolk 12-2. Gwinnett wins over Rochester 5-3. Durham loses 7-4 to the Charlotte Knights. Last night it was Indianapolis, a 3-2 win over the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. Syracuse wins 7-5 over the Buffalo Bison. After tonight's games, tomorrow, it's like I said, it'll be the concluding games of the series, of the 4-game series. Gwinnett will be in Rochester. That's 11:05 start time for that one. 12:05 Norfolk taking on Pawtucket. 1:05 Syracuse at Buffalo. And then the late games, of course, what's happening so far tonight. Looking at the standings going forward in International League Baseball this week, the Mud Hens still in last place in the IL West. They're 42 and 55, 14 and a half games out of first place. The elimination number is 33. Louisville is 46 and 52, 11 games out of first place. 36 is the number for their elimination number. Columbus 54 and 43, 2.5 games out of first place. 45 is their elimination number. Indianapolis still holding top of the International League with a record of 57 and 41. Syracuse 39 and 59, Pawtucket 41 and 56, and then it's Toledo, who is 42 and 55, and then you have Lehigh Valley, who is 43 and 54. Looking at the wild card standings in the International League, Norfolk holds the wild card over Columbus. Columbus is only a game behind in the wild card right now. Toledo 13 games out of a wild card position. There's no way that they're going to make a rally. There's no way. No way whatsoever. Hashtag fire Larry Parrish. And Mike Hessman has to retire. You're watching All Andy Alfred right here. An exclusive home for me, a production of ClayFan23. So, we're going to talk about this. A great piece written on NHL.com. It was also produced on Sportsnet. Get ready for this, Jacket fans. Most, if not all, are reporting the Jackets are going to make the postseason next year. Where's wood? I need a piece of knocking on wood. Sam Rosen got an email. He got a tweet and from Over the Boards, and he has the Twitter name was @BlueJacketDad. Just how dangerous can the Blue Jackets be this year? He writes. And Rosen writes, they're the team to watch in the Metropolitan Division. If they stay healthy, they are a playoff team. So clearly, I think they are pretty dangerous this season. I practically love the combination of Ryan Johansson and Brandon Saad on the top line, if it works out that way. Saad is on the cusp of becoming the breakout of a star in the NHL. Johansson is already there. It should be an exciting combination. I put the Blue Jackets as third or fourth in the Metropolitan Division behind the Washington Capitals, the New York Rangers, and the heck Pittsburgh Penguins. In addition to Saad, plus assuming health, puts the Blue Jackets a notch above the New York Islanders. In addition, Phil Kessel, plus additional help, puts the Penguins above a notch over the Islanders too. But the Islanders are going to be a playoff team because my pick is the only three will come out of the Atlantic Division. Two of them will be the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Montreal Canadiens. So he believes that the Jackets are for real. I believe it's real. Do you believe it's real? Could this be the year, folks? I'm not going to get a lot of hopes up into this because injuries could kill us. It killed us last year. We need to be extremely healthy and be conscientious. We cannot take stupid stuff. We have to be careful this year. Have to be very, very careful this year. And the Jackets are going to be the one. I think the pieces are finally coming together. Johansson, Foligno, Dubitsky, Calvert, Saad, Bobrovsky, Johnson. Now we get Jared Boll off the team. We're good. He's been a minus his entire life as a Jacket. Ship him now. A couple signings to announce, of course. No big signings today. Like I said, Johan Larsson was the big signing yesterday from Buffalo, and the local signing of Teemu Pykälä back to the Red Wings. A lot of quiet signings so far. Nothing big coming out so far, and we'll see what happens as we get closer and closer and closer. I am getting more and more excited. Once we get into August, we'll get the addition, of course. A lot of people are talking about wanting. We're having a discussion. We're having discussions about having a 3-person panel for this program to talk a little bit and preview the NFL, college football, and also the NHL season going forward. Have a few names to talk about that could come onto this program and talk about what they think and their predictions for the season. Of course, we have Nick DeVera, of course, from Beat the Shift. He will be on coming up soon to talk a little bit about the trade deadline. Hopefully, we're going to try to get him in this next week before the trade deadline, or have our special trade deadline show and have him on the program. Because last year it was fantastic. He was just blown away that David Price was picked up by the Detroit Tigers on that fateful day on the 31st of July last year. So we'll see what happens with that. On tomorrow's edition of All Andy Alfred, we'll talk a little bit. We'll talk and recap the games that are happening tonight, as well as the Tiger game tomorrow afternoon, Irakuma versus Price. It could be David Price's last outing at Comerica Park tomorrow. So get out there and see it. And we need to fire Brad Ausmus. Use the hashtag fire Brad Ausmas. That's how his last name is spelled. Hashtag fire Brad Ausmus. That's going to wrap it up for all Andy Alfred today. I hope you enjoyed this program as much as I gave it to you. Wherever you're watching us and however you're watching us, thank you for tuning into the program today. And as always, go Tigers! You got to get back into it. Come on, you got to get back into it. It's ridiculous. Indian Fever, got to feel it. Might be changing alliances if we keep Brad Ausmus. Let's go Hens. And we are the fifth line. I'm Andy Alfred. I hope you enjoyed this program, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening. And as always, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. Game of life. The team's behind me. It's your team that you root for at home as well. Victory is sweetest. You have tasted defeat. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Love you. Talk to you guys tomorrow.